If you're a couple looking to get way off-grid, way off the beaten path, and you want to have some comfort and some luxury, MDC USA has something for you in the form of the XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme. Now, it's a newer product for them, and it's really neat. How about we check it out? The XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme is not the biggest trailer out there, which is exactly what some people are looking for. They want something very nimble, as we said before. This trailer is only 18 foot 2 inches long from tip to tail, and it only weighs 4,340 pounds, dry weight, of course. And it has a lot going for it in the way it's built. It's extremely rugged because it has a hot rolled galvanized tube chassis underneath. It has extremely capable suspension and rugged hubs. And on top, it's all built on an aluminum inner frame all the way throughout, including the roof. Not only that, there's zero wood in this, so no rot. It's not possible. But I've taken too much time with some of these specs and dimensions. Let's go inside, see what we can find in there. Let's go. Well, here we go. The XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme. Very nice trailer. And you'll notice that even with my frame of 6'4" barefoot, 6'5" in my shoes, I have headroom. Standing straight up, I'm clear here. I will feel a little bit of drag on the stocking cap right there. But other than that, lots of space. The look, the feel, there's no wood in this build on the inside, in the framing, nothing. So nothing for rotting out, no matter where your excursions take you. But let's talk about some of the things that are added to this unit to make it more luxurious and more comfortable for you, the user. From an appliance standpoint, the air conditioner is a Truma unit, and this is one of their new Aventa series. It's their Eco series, and it is 13.5 BTU. They also have a Truma furnace, and it is 11.5 BTU, and that is a propane operated furnace. Tried and true system, works very well, particularly in a space this size. So a nice efficient air conditioner above, a ducted heater below, you're covered from a comfort standpoint. Now, if I look around, you're going to find a 3-burner Thetford stove. This is one of 2. There's one in the outside kitchen as well. We'll make sure you see that in a little bit. And then a sink right here. It's about a foot across, about 8 to 10 inches across this way, and a good 6 or so inches deep. So you can do some cooking in here. If the weather requires you to do some indoor time, then there you go. Don't forget that outdoor kitchen. You have plugs right here, your residential plugs. You have 12-volt USB. You have this wonderful window right in this area, and I'm going to tell you about these windows. All right, so they are acrylic, and they're dual pane acrylic. They look fantastic from the inside and the outside. They are tinted. There's a few tricks up their sleeves, okay? All the windows have a bug screen. All the windows have a blackout shade. You can pair those up together, get a little bit of privacy, a little bit of airflow, as long as you want to, with the window closed or shut. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to open this up, and you're going to notice that it opens up awning style. So if you have a little bit of precipitation coming down, you can still have that airflow, and it won't get inside. Obviously, if a wind comes sideways, you might get some water inside. But we're going to listen for clicks to hold it open. Get a little bit of breeze going in here. Very nice, and every window around here has the same functionality. Above me is a skylight, if you will, and it opens kind of similarly, and we can get more breeze coming through just by popping that open. Light, breeze, and the bezel has a light built in for this area. It's not right in your eyes. It's kind of indirect because of where it's mounted. So it's very, very nice. Now let's go ahead and close this up. Make sure they're latched. Now you can leave those partially open. There's a secondary position on these latches so you can get a little bit of airflow around them and still have it kind of effectively closed, but you don't want to travel that way. You want to make sure it's fully locked. Okay, so here we go. We have some storage all the way around, and we'll show you some of this, but take a look at what I have to do to get into these. They're kind of nice and smooth, flush, nothing can hang on them, whether they're down below or up above. Push it, but I still cannot open that latch because I want it to be secure when you are really adventuring off-grid and off-road. So I'm going to turn that clockwise, about a quarter of a turn, maybe less. There you go. And they stay open. Now I'm going to experiment this. I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. Let's see if they're soft close. Soft enough, and a nice little positive click. Let's see about this one. Sure enough, soft close. I do like that. Now I do have more down here, so I'm going to rotate around real quick, and then I'm going to ask you to come down here. These drawers, again, the same materials, same latches, but in a great location. They come out a good amount, over a foot. So I would say probably a foot and 3 or 4 inches. Let's check that out. All right, so maybe not a soft close on the drawers, but very solidly built. Good materials, the same, very great latches. So, you know what? It doesn't slam. It won't slam. I'm sure I can make it slam, but it doesn't want to. So that adds to your environment as well. I do notice down below here, there is indirect lighting all the way around the perimeter of the kitchen here. I'm not sure if you're able to see it just where you are, but underneath the cabinetry is a nice glow all around the floor up here. And I can also see a glow around the entry step as well, which you can just turn on by reaching in the door. So very nice. Standing back up, let's look at a couple more things. I have some safety equipment here with a smoke detector, some hooks for hanging keys or whatnot there, a head pad for someone who's tall and trying to get out quickly like I might. Lots of switches down here by the door, and I'm going to roll in some B-roll for that, but most of the switches at the doorway are for just reach-in items. If you're outside working, you're going to have some outside lighting. Maybe it's the porch light outside on the driver's side. There's a spotlight on the front. There's a spotlight on the back. There's more lighting on the other side, all controlled right down here. You also have some switches for the electric awning. It's a cassette awning that is all electric, very nice. And you have your fire extinguisher. So very cool. But what about the lighting for the rest of the cabin? That is on these switches here. So I'm going to go ahead and run through these. All right. I'd say everything is off, but it's a bright, sunshiny day, so we have light coming in. But these are these switches work very nice, and they're big. You're not fumbling around for them. Looks very nice. That does it for this kitchen area. How about I rotate around here and show you the dining space, small trailer, and the sleeping space, not a small sleeping space. Let's check it out. Here we are, moving a little bit further into this space, not the largest space, but again, very workable. Here's that wonderful air conditioner, but take a look. You have tunes, if you will, with the stereo speakers, those wonderful cabinets. I'm going to open up one of these here. Same thing, and you'll see it's finished out nicely, zero wood, and soft close, very positive catch, indirect lighting right here. And I'm going to ask you to come down with me as we sit down in the dinette area. Again, it's not that large a trailer, but it's a very comfortable place to be. This is a very nice dense foam in here. I think it'll put up with a lot of hours of sitting and enjoying company, having a meal, playing cards, dominoes, you name it. But you will be playing those cards and dominoes on this really nice table. It really truly looks in person like wood, not just on camera, feels in person like wood. So I really like it. Top, bottom, it just, good table, very solid. And it's on a mount that you maybe have seen before. It's the Lagoon table mount, which makes it highly adjustable. Notice table spins and the base itself can move around or be raised or lowered for height. Very nice, very functional. I'm going to push it aside so that you might be able to see down here by my knee is a little bitty cubby for a little bit of storage, and inside is this circular charging pad. So if your phone will allow you to use charging, inductive charging, place your phone right there, and as long as the DC circuit is on, which I'll show you where that is, then that will charge up your phone without the use of cords and cables. Very cool. You will find different things in this area. Underneath here is a little bit of storage, easy access. Underneath the bed, I wouldn't say there's really any storage, but you'll see some venting, and that's because some of your electronic equipment is beneath this bed. You'll also find some ports down here by my knee, my leg, if you will, and that's for that heating system to quietly and efficiently add heat down low so it covers the space evenly, comfortably, and heats up the cabin from the lowest point up to make the best use of it. Now I'm going to move on to the sleeping space, and we're going to take note of how comfortable it really is. This is a pillow top mattress. It is very nice, and they call it an Olympic Queen because it's not a true 60 by 80. It's actually 78 inches long and some change, but it is about 67 inches wide, so it's wider. I don't know about swimming in the Olympics, but I do know that this queen is large enough for someone of my size. Quite nice. I'm actually going to sit on it while I move around and show you something else that's pretty neat. Another one of these dual pane acrylic windows works the same way with all the accoutrements that I showed you before. But over here we have a what they call a Sirocco 2 fan. Now I'm going to move it so you can see how much articulation it has. It can move up and down, side to side, so position it all the ways you want. It's a 3-speed 12-volt fan, so it runs off the battery system. You don't have to be plugged in. Keeps your space very comfortable, and it has a built-in timer. So maybe you know it takes you typically about an hour or so, 30 minutes, an hour or so to wind down and to drift off to sleep. Well, you can set this fan to quietly add a little bit of moving air, maybe some white noise, and once you're off in dreamland, it turns off and saves you energy. So there you go. Reading lights right here. And on the other side, you have some outlets for plugs on this side or that side. So you could feasibly choose to put your head over here and feed this way, or vice versa, and be super comfortable no matter what. Great faux headboard area, because I don't think that your head would be this way unless you are significantly shorter than I would imagine. In which case, you could probably put 4 or 5 people in here, designed for 2. I'm going to rotate around to the other side of the dinette, show you a few more things from that angle. We've made it to the other side. I'm going to lift up the mattress for you to see. Now, it's no storage under here. It may look like it, but underneath this panel is some of your equipment. All right, so again, you have your outside water ports are on the other side. Some of the interior equipment for that is right there. And then you're going to notice another panel right back there. That's where your RENOGY REGO 400 amp hour battery lives, underneath that panel. So 400 amp hours of brand new high-tech RENOGY equipment is something else. Comes with the trailer. We'll talk about the solar capacity and all that. But while I'm here, underneath this seat is actually your inverters, a 3,000 watt RENOGY inverter. Get used to me saying it RENOGY, because everything from solar on down in this trailer, if it's the energy package, is RENOGY, which means it's all one ecosystem, all one support system. If you have questions, one line to call. So they didn't piecemeal this together. It works together beautifully. Right beside my head, I do have a 12-volt television right here. You can see it adjusts all around. So if you want to sit in bed, you want to sit in the dinette, if you want something playing behind you while you're cooking, you're good to go. You do have a fuse box, Truma controls, and I'm going to stand up here. So let's take a look in here, because it does look like more cabinetry, but you have some storage space. And on this side, you have a whole lot of whiz-bang, if you will. So come around here and I'll show you. In this cabinet, you're going to find quite a few things. Let's start at the top left, if you will. This is just your tank monitor. You can turn it on or off to see what your levels are. And then I'm going to come down this way. We have these little button-looking things here. Now, this is really cool because these are resettable fuses. Instead of having to look for a blade fuse, which one popped, stare at it in a light, see if it burned or what have you, you just go through here and you can tell if it's pushable and it clicks back in place, then that fuse had quote unquote popped and you're ready to reset it and get going. So in this bottom corner here, it has a fuse for water tank heating. Now that's part of their cold weather pack design that they built with this trailer. So they really want you to be able to camp in very cold situations. So down here we have heaters or heating pads on all the water tanks, both of your fresh tanks and your gray water tank. Now there's more to that pack than just the tanks being heated. You have insulated water lines. The battery, the RENOGY REGO battery, has an internal heater that is intelligent, so it knows when to turn on and when to conserve energy and turn off. You have the dual pane windows. The furnace is included in that because that helps to keep the cabin and some of those lines and battery in a warmer location. So there's a lot that goes into their planning for you to camp in cold situations. Let's go on, and you're going to find these switches here. I have the DC outlet one on, and there's another switch for the toilet and fridge. Again, 12 volt. The toilet has its own pump, its own water tank that's separate from drawing from the rest of the fresh water tanks. And the fridge, so 12 volt, on off. I love having master shutoffs for as many things as possible. It helps me to be in control of how I'm using power, conserve battery, all the above. Water pump and gauge, okay. Water heater, that's for that on-demand water system. And then a switch for your furnace. Although it is a propane furnace, it does require some nominal amount of electricity to make sure that it lights off and the circuit board has power to do its job. I'm going to come across here. There is a master battery disconnect, so you can take the battery out of the circuit if you are going to be in storage for a while. It's a great way to make sure that none of the circuitry in this camper has a phantom draw that continues to draw off that battery. Let's say the camper needs to be in storage for a month or two. You'll come back with a still live, still very charged up battery as long as nothing's drawing off of it. Then we have this RENOGY screen. It will tell you everything that is going on. And I'm going to beep through a few of these things, but just know it's very deep. So right now the battery's at 59%, and we are drawing a current of 7 amps, so -7 amps. And the time remaining with all the lights on in this camper as we sit, and I actually have some of the lights on outside too. With all the lights on right now, I have 33 hours of time remaining because it's a 400 amp hour RENOGY battery. That's really cool. We have the inverter charger, and that's part of the draw too. The inverter is on right now. And if I bump through, it'll tell me where my power's coming from, the load. Let's see, here's tons of information on the battery. We have the health of the different cells within it. So if you want to geek out and nerd out, RENOGY's got you covered. Lots and lots of inverter information, 50 amp charging. I'm going to go on. But that screen does also take power. So you can also turn that off on its own separate switch. Pretty cool. We do need to move on, and you're going to find more storage here. Great storage, a mirror, deep, has a hanging rod, but what do we have here? MDC on any trailer that they make that has the ability to support these systems, which is all of their hard-walled systems, trailers, have these extra standard accessories. This one happens to be a shower room for the outside. Hot and cold shower outside in the wilderness. Awesome. This really large one is an annex room that goes off the other side. Totally encloses the space on the passenger side, if you will, curbside. And so if you're going to be set up for a few days, you can make that space outside all enclosed, including the floor. Very, very comfortable, very campable, and it effectively doubles your camping setups with, so if you do have guests, let's say you bring some kids in one of those disco bed, bunk bed situations, they'll be comfortable and safe out there as well. We have more storage in the way of shelves right down here, and I actually see your water pump there. Let's check out as we go in the bathroom, but before I get there, take a look at this. Hanging hooks. They just rotate out to whatever position you need them. Hang 3 towels. Maybe you just need to have something accessible. Nice design. But let's check out the space for, well, that space. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go. Now I'm inside the bathroom. Now it is a wet bath because it is a smallish trailer, but it is very comfortable even for someone of my size. I can't stand up. Now I am on my shoes, obviously, and I do have a cap on, so my head does lightly touch this power fan right above me. Same sort of bezel light as you saw on the outside where there's lighting around the perimeter. Now, there is a very nice shower head right here. It can be adjusted up or down. And then you also have another window, just like the bigger windows in the main cabin. There's a window with the same screen and blackout shade, and it opens up the same way. Still double pane, very nice. Behind me, great storage for a bathroom. Towels, knickknacks, paddywhacks, you name it. Again, 0 wood in here. So easy to maintain, easy to clean. You have a shelf, you have a little towel rack, and then I'm going to bring your attention to this Thetford Cassette toilet down here. Now there is quite a bit of space right there. Quite a bit of space. Shoulder room, obviously headroom. So very nice. And, you know, wet bath. There's a lot to be said for a wet bath. It makes space for the camper outside in the main living space, but it's very efficient as well. You could do, I don't know, say double duty or just shave your legs. So I think that does it for the wet bath. Let's check out what we can find outside. On the outside of this XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme, you're going to see that it is a very nice, clean package, but also purpose-built, purpose-designed, purpose-engineered. I just closed this door, obviously, very solid door, but it has a lot going for it in the way that they know that these doors on standard RVs might not be up to the task when you're going off-road and bouncing around a little bit, but their doors have 3 lugs, top, bottom, see, there's 1, 2, 3, top, bottom, and center, to make sure that it stays in place while you're traveling. You can separate these two, and you have a full screen and yet protected door right there. Very comfortable, very nice. And then you close this. Now this can be held open right here on this hold open, or they have another one for a secondary position. You take this little bar out and it'll hang on to that little cleat right there. So I'm gonna close that. And we're gonna talk a little bit about what else we have going on here. This is a lighted hand grip right there. Nice for your entryway. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that in the sunlight, but there it is. And outdoor speakers, lighting, electric awning. And again, I want to remind you, we saw an annex room in the package there that can attach to this perimeter all the way around and attach to the awning. And it has a floor and it extends this space out. So again, double your width, safe, out of the weather, great for entertaining. Now I want to get to the kitchen, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later. Let's go around the back. You can see that beautiful window, that double pane window, a backup camera. I must have left the spotlight on in the back. A ladder to get to the roof because you might want to get your eyes on that solar panel up there. There's over 300 watts, I believe 350 watts of solar up there. Super fantastic. Get the details on all the RENOGY equipment in the video description below. You're gonna have numbers and specs and model names, all of that video description below. Now, they have a full-size spare on one of their really durable hubs. You have recovery hooks. You have really, really heavy-duty stability jacks on all 4 corners. They are a pleasure to use. If you ever talk about stability jacks and saying they're a pleasure to use, you might be of an odd feather, like I am. So, let's go. Coming around You're gonna see lots of stickers on here because they do work with some fantastic equipment. We have Truma, we've talked about Truma, and we have Tough Tracks. Now that is what they call their off-road suspension. Now it is a true independent trailing arm suspension, and it is proven rugged and durable. We're gonna roll in some B-roll so you can see it because it is beefy. The springs are no joke. The shock absorbers are no joke. Everything, there's nothing funny about it. It is a serious suspension. There you go. Now, this one is interesting to me. This is the Tucson sway control. This is something that most people are unaware of. I recently became aware of it, and it is an electronic stability control system. I am very used to a weight distribution hitch that also gives you some stability control. It's all mechanical, nice, I like mechanical analog things, but a digital sway control adds zero weight to your setup, and it operates the brakes on either side just as needed in the moment that it's needed versus operating both sides and just maybe not being quite as satisfying a ride. With the Tucson unit, it is a delight to pull because it operates those brakes asymmetrically by checking using accelerometers exactly where to apply the power, left tire or right tire, in exactly the right amount. But wait, you don't want that to happen when you're off-road. You don't want the trailer locking up brakes at all. You want to be in full control. Well, it can tell when you are no longer on a smooth highway surface, moving at smooth highway speeds. Once you leave the nice pavement for the unbeaten path, if you will, then it goes ahead and goes into a sleep mode and no longer is working those brakes for you on the trailer, which they're 12-inch electric brakes, so they do their job. It stops doing that and it just monitors to see when you are now on smooth ground again. Now these last two are pretty easy to go over. The Mega Hub is a really special hub that they use, that they design in-house at MDC for these off-road excursions. And then RENOGY is obviously the power system. Everything from solar through the inverter, through power management, it's all there. Did I mention it has a DC to DC charger built in? So your tow vehicle is fast charging at all times. Not that little trickle charge your 7-pin gets. No, we're talking up to 50 amps of charge straight off of your alternator on your tow vehicle, right into your batteries. It's spectacular. One of my favorite things I've ever done to one of my trailers. All right, you are protected all the way around with this really nice skirting, if you will, all the way around. It is nice. Here, behind this lockable panel, is your water management, your connection to your city water. You have your fill ports for your 2 freshwater tanks. And then down here is a shower, lockable, hot and cold, because right here above me is that rail for the outdoor shower room that I was telling you about. Easy access, so if you have been on some adventures that get you a little dirty or whatnot, and you don't want to take that inside, or if it's just a beautiful day and you're out in the middle of nowhere, you could have that really nice shower experience and a really nice setting. This is another opportunity to show you another thing that they consider at MDC that most do not. They design their trailers for honestly the Australian outback, where there are some, they say there's dust there. I haven't personally been there, but they say there's dust, maybe that fine dust that you might find in a desert playa, if you will. So if you want to protect your stuff from dust, you have to have good seals. Well, they go for what they call a tri-seal. There's one here, and then there's another one here. And then there's yet another seal there with these camming locks that really pull it in. You're gonna notice it wants to compress those seals and then to really tighten it up, cinch it up. I'm gonna turn that and it cinches it all up and it's lockable. Now, if you want to protect all that gear and you're at a site that has access to city water, you can just access it right through this port right there. Good looking out by MDC USA. This is the back of that Truma AquaGo system. It is pretty much an on-demand hot water system. Very state-of-the-art. Love this guy. And part of that cold weather package that MDC put in here is that they added something that is just an accessory available from Truma, MDC made it standard, so they actually added an electric heating element to make sure that your hot water system is maintained and doesn't freeze up on you when you're traveling, when you're in between point A, point B, and point C, or in storage for just a little while. Maybe you have to be away from your trailer for a short amount of time. You can protect that from an electronics standpoint, and you're good to go. They didn't have to add that, but they're looking out for you. This is, again, thick door, lots of seals. It is storage, just a storage bay. You might have thought it was going to be a pass-through, but we'll show you what's on the other side here in a moment. I did find in here, and it's still packaged up, this is the post for your towing system. It is the Cruisemaster DO35 system. They include the literature for you. Let's go to the tongue of this trailer and show you what the business end of this looks like. Here we are at the tongue of the trailer. You're gonna notice, again, that armor, if you will, a great guard for anything that you might kick up while you're towing. And on the wings of this, they are open, but they have rigging, if you will, for jerry cans. Maybe you need to bring extra water, extra fuel, one of each, up to you. All good to go. And in this bin, let me open this up, they use these kind of camming pins on both sides, so it's not going to accidentally come loose on you. There's another one. And then latch. You have a spot for 2 propane tanks. These are your 20-pound or 5-gallon propane tanks, and it is vented in the bottom, as you do with propane items. Very nice. And they also have a seal around this to help to prevent, I would guess, vibration on this one, because it is vented at the bottom, so you might still get dust coming up from the bottom, but from the top, it's not going to rattle much because you're compressing that seal. Any little thing that takes care of you as the owner. Okay, let's look down here. Coming down, there's a lot to go over. First off, again, this hot rolled galvanized steel frame is something else. Super strong. They didn't have to go this far, but they did for you because they want you to explore confidently and to return confidently every time. There's a water spigot. I don't know of many other manufacturers that do this, but here's your water spigot. If you need to rinse something off, there you go. You may wonder, what is this doohickey doing here? I've seen these in one of my manual transmission cars. Well, yes, you have. This is a handbrake. So when you are in a situation that you need to detach, maybe you're at the campsite or you need to reposition your tow vehicle, well, you can, but you want those wheels locked up first before you detach. Just pull this up and it clamps down those 12-inch brakes on both sides. Safety device, love it. Really powerful bogey wheel right there. Look at the size of these chains. These are serious, no messing around chains. I think you could probably suspend this trailer from one of these and be just fine. Never try that, even though I think it could probably happen. What a fantastic chain set. They hang right there. And then I have, why would I need an Anderson style plug? If you remember me talking about the DC to DC charger that can really quick charge your battery from the alternator on your tow vehicle, this is how it connects to that wiring on your tow vehicle. You may not have that wiring on your tow vehicle yet. So that's a little bit of work, a little bit of equipment that you do add to your tow vehicle to make this work. It's just really functionally a connection from the alternator on your vehicle back to an Anderson plug that mates up with this one. So that, one of my favorite things. Finally, to the star of the show. This is the DO35 360 style connection hitch. It does not take a standard ball. It takes that pin style connection that I showed you a little bit ago. But notice how freely this rotates. Left and right, but also fore and aft. I mean, look at the amount of articulation you get here. Now, that pin is super cool because whenever you're lining up, it kind of self-rights itself then you lowered it down, and you're gonna notice that when it's time, you want that to lock into place. Now, you're not trying to fiddle with it. You just push this button in. It just captures it right there. I don't know the official name of it, but I think of it as a guillotine hatch because it just snaps into place just like that. And then you'll know that you're good to go because when that is on the pin and captured, this dust cover will fit beautifully and you're ready to roll. One of my favorite hitches, if you're gonna be off-roading at all, we always recommend a 360 style hitch because your tow vehicle may have to go this way while your trailer goes this way for a short section and then back the other. A 360 style hitch is really a way to make sure that you can do that safely and get on down the path. That's it for the tongue area of the trailer, except for that bright spotlight up there. And now we finally get to the side of the trailer that has that outdoor kitchen. Let's roll over there. Finally to the star of the show for some people. Again, these hatches, very nice, thick doors, protected from the elements. And this tray is designed for you to have a nice large 12-volt chest style refrigerator or freezer. It has accessories at the moment because MDC wants you to have all the accessories. But this is a deep space and is wired for you to put in whatever brand of cooler you want in here. Maybe it's the Dometic or an Iceco or what are they, a Bougie RV. There's so many makers of these things, Camco. I digress. You have two power sources here. Your standard circular 12-volt cigarette style plug, which is fine, but if you want a more solid, more sure power source, they have an Anderson plug for your refrigerator too. Clicks in, holds in place, doesn't rattle loose, love it. And then we have a light right there. You can see that it's finished out nicely. Again, another space to remind you, zero wood in this camper. I'm gonna roll this in. You're gonna notice that it has multiple ways to lock. So we have a release here, and then we have a very positive pin lock right there. So that release has it. Most manufacturers would say that's enough. But MDC has added this pin lock that goes to the frame there. And then they protect you from dust here, here, there, and also with these filtered systems because that 12-volt refrigerator does need some venting to operate efficiently and not burn itself up. Lockable here, here, but back to the star of the show. Let's do this. Let's open this up. Locked here, locked there, and then I'm gonna roll this up and lock it in place and pull this out. This may be the first time this one's been opened, so give me a moment. And I'm opening right now that 3-burner Thetford stove, just like the one on the inside, but outside. It has wind wings, lock into place. Let me lower those down. 1 and 2. Beautiful amount of cook space, but you also have a sink right here. Rotate that up, bring these around, put a sink, and you could do a lot with just this. Now you do have a little bit of storage, it looks like, on the front here. Beneath the sink is really a place where they store your hoses to get water to the sink. And then over here, you do have some smart storage there. You have utensil tray and a nice drawer with soft close because, of course, nice touch. It is so easy to maintain, so beautiful. Just imagine cooking out here on a day like today. Maybe with the awning out, sunlight's a bit bright, but this is such a fantastic couples trailer. The XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme, with its extreme abilities, off-road and roughing it, and its extreme luxury and comfort. Easy to maintain, easy to clean, zero wood in it. The top of the line equipment from RENOGY, top to bottom in power. It is ready for cold weather travel because they thought of you. They know that you want to see the places in all those seasons. And it is very efficient. It has great amount of solar on the roof, great amount of solar that you can add to it on the outside. It has 400 amp hours straight from RENOGY and it's standard. It has the annex room that you can add to the outside, a shower room ready to go, a really off-road capable hitch. I can go on, but we're at the end of the video. So if you'd like to know more about it, look in the description down below. XT12HR Off-Grid Extreme. It's been an absolute pleasure showing it to you. We'll see you next time.